JD Fantasy Football.
He is starting Geno Smith over Jordan Love, and I hate this on so many levels.
Then Joe Flacco comes in like he does, with his cape on.
Welcome to JD Fantasy Football. This is David Lamson. I'm joined by Jordan Cordova, who's known for two things, chewing gum and doing fantasy football, and he is all out of gum. So that's what we're doing tonight. We are going to talk fantasy football. We've got everything you need. Sleepers, rising stars, busts. We're going to break down different matchups during the week, and then we will answer your questions at the very end. What's going on this week, Jordan? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, coming off a big victory. Team's feeling solid, looking solid. So, I got the point lead. We'll talk more about that, but that's probably gone already. So, but it will be nice this week to say that was the point leader for a single week.
I would say both of our teams are trending in the right direction. Every week I kind of do like a little power, who's got the best team this week. And me and you are right there every week. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of teams winning right now with and you give it to them. They're just playing who they're playing, and they're having the weeks that they're having. But there are some that have been getting away with some 100 points and 110 point victories. And, I think, the whole season, we got the last, a little bit less than half of the season left to go. And this is the time to heat up and get rolling. I see you being the comeback kid here, Dave. I see you're the scary team that people don't want to face at the 8th seed.
I
or 7th
Cade
seed.
Otton. Cade Otton was the pickup of the century just because Ferguson had a bye week. But I'm excited to see who that next person is. Is there another Cade Otton out there that someone picks up?
Yeah.
They can ride them to the end. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into injuries here. So just kind of going down the list here, Jonathan Brooks is finally playing his first game. I don't see him being a big part of the team really in the future, but I think they're going to take it slow. This guy hasn't even practiced in the NFL yet. He's barely getting going. So I think they'll ease him in. And Carolina's not on a win now situation. So I think that Jonathan Brooks will get eased into that. So I don't know how much significance that has of him coming back. And then Adam Thielen, staying on that Panther front here, is expected to not play. They won't say it's a setback, but essentially it was expected to start practicing and stuff. So by next week, they have to take him off the IR, make him active, or he is out for the season. So stay tuned next week for that. Drake London, he got like a hit point. So like essentially a deep pain factor at this point of whether he'll play on Sunday. They said he felt pretty good during practice. So he's more likely to play than not. Our wonderful Neil Collins is still questionable. He only practiced partially today, and I'll know a little bit more about 90 minutes before then. Brian Robinson is out, which I look to play Austin Eckler in this situation. No option because he has had some good games when Brian Robinson is out, and he's clearly the one that they're going to play. And Juwan Jennings is set to return. But the number one that everyone's talking about all year, injury, that we can kind of get into here is Mr. Christian McCaffrey is expected to play his first game here in week, 10? So all the payoff to us who have Christian McCaffrey, I have him in another league, but all the payoff to us to be able to say, if you have some wins here, I'm going to talk about a little bit more later on in the show, but if you got some good wins here and you have Christian McCaffrey come back, you could heat up at the exact moment you need to. So, Christian McCaffrey back in action here. Other than that, who do you have for your sleeper?
Well, Jordan, last week you had Parker Washington from the Jacksonville Jaguars as a potential sleeper.
Yes. Yes, I did.
And just in that same vein, I'm going to go with Evan Ingram this week for similar reasons. The wide receiver room is still banged up. But also there's the Mac Jones factor. So Mac Jones, I'm thinking Hunter Henry in New England. Maybe he comes in because Trevor Lawrence is out. He's looking for that big target, especially in the end zone. Evan Ingram can catch the ball, despite what we've seen down there. So yeah, I'm thinking this way. Evan Ingram, even though he has not produced this season very much, he absolutely can this week.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a guy who actually has 0 points projected this week. That's Cedric Tillman. He's on a bye this week, but I have him in our league, but he is available in 50% or more leagues. And this guy shouldn't be. In the last 3 weeks since Deshaun Watson has gotten injured, he's essentially gotten 12 targets, 9 targets, and 11 targets. He's been one of the top wide receivers in the last 3 weeks since Jameis Winston comes. We all know Jameis Winston likes to play YOLO ball. We all know that the Browns are probably going to be losing and throwing the ball. So we all know that that's going to be we know that he can get that ball down there, and he's been targeting Cedric Tillman, and he's been scoring touchdowns. I think he could be a huge play pickup for this league. But yeah, so that is my sleeper for this week. But it should be pretty exciting. I like the Evan Ingram pick too. I think Jaguars are going to have to throw to somebody at some point,
They're going to be down, and Mac Jones, I mean, he's less likely to, I think, just vacate the pocket. He's going to throw that ball away or to someone big in the middle of the field. So, yeah. Man. Well, I want to beat you to it. My rising star is Courtland Sutton.
You pick. It's my exact boom. That's
no way. But so he has had back-to-back big weeks. That's funny. We had and he has a growing connection with Bo Nix. But are you kidding me, Jordan?
No.
He has a growing connection just as a receiver and as a passer to Bo Nix. Yeah. They are connecting on both ends. But this week, big question. Do you play Courtland Sutton against Kansas City? Now, I've heard that there are some field issues in Arrowhead. I guess there's a college game there the day before, and they've been practicing with longer cleats. So that favors a defensive team like Denver. Sloppy fields usually favor defenses and savvy veterans, who Courtland Sutton is. So, and I'm thinking a banged up Pat Mahomes on a slippery field could spell trouble. It could be a good day for Mr. Sutton because he's the one that can make those special plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, my boom is Courtland Sutton. Big. No, I think I couldn't agree more with you. 5 catches on 222 yards total and a throwing touchdown. He's bound to find the end zone at some point. This week for me, I'm not starting him because I do have Joshua Downs, and we all know on this show we're major Joe Flacco lovers here. So I'm gonna go ahead
Joe Flacco podcast.
Yeah. Neither of us are even Colt fans, but here we are. So yeah, I would say Courtland Sutton's looking pretty good. If not this week, more in the future. Absolutely. I think he's going to be a big receiver and maybe a good trading tool. We will see.
I see.
So stay tuned. All right. Well, I'm going to beat you to the bust then, in case you have the same bust as I do. And my bust is Nick Chubb.
Okay.
And it's because of the exact opposite of why I like Cedric Tillman as the sleeper and a great pickup for upcoming weeks, is because they are not a good team. They are probably going to be playing from behind all year long. That does not go towards the running game. He hasn't really produced since he's been back, although I do love Nick Chubb. I just think that they're going to be playing from behind so much, and Jameis Winston is such a YOLO ball player. He just wants to toss that thing down the field. I think he might have some bigger weeks to come, but I don't think this week, he's on a bye, but I don't think he's going to be. I'm calling this a bust altogether for the season. I would not play him until they show something. They show something that he's able to, but I don't think they're going to go back to being that good needy gritty, let's run it down their throat type of games, I think they're always going to be behind.
Man, it's been a rough year for the Browns, man. Rough year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my bust is a little different. It's Xavier Worthy. So, I mean, the news just can't get any worse for Worthy. He wakes up and they trade for D-Hop, and D-Hop has been an overnight sensation for Kansas City. Xavier only had 2 targets in a game where Mahomes threw the ball 44 times. Yikes.
Yeah.
He coulda, shoulda, woulda, but his ceiling is lower now that D-Hop is there, and his floor is terrifyingly low for fantasy owners. Some experts are saying that he's done. But Kelsey's looking better. D-Hop is looking better. I mean, that's all troubling for an already just floundering Worthy. So he is absolutely my bust from now to the end of the season. He's going to have to do something that he hasn't done so far.
Yeah, the thing is like people target him because he had some big weeks and stuff like that. But I would care to guess, and I don't have any stats on this, so don't quote me. But
Okay.
Justin Watson might have as much value as Xavier Worthy. Like, I think he's gotten, like, even the last few games, I think he's gotten, like, if not as many, a little bit more targets. I mean, mind you, Xavier had that one week where he had like 6. But when the 1 week that you remember him getting the most targets is 6, it's not a good sign.
Wow.
So, but all right, well, let's get into our matchups here. The first one we want to go over here is going to be you, Dave, versus Josh. How you feeling this week?
Well, I'm feeling very encouraged, not only because Josh is just scoring less, but because this is kind of he had a tough situation at quarterback this week. He had to choose, Jordan Love's on a bye, Geno Smith's on a bye, and so he had to get Caleb Williams as his quarterback. And yeah, that's pretty freaking brutal. Yeah, so he's ridden his season. I mean, he's the number 1 guy in our league. He's got Gibbs, he's got Swift, he's got Jefferson. My goodness. I wish Justin Jefferson was on a bye on the week that he's playing me, because that guy, he's going to be a problem for the Jaguars defense. Jaguars defense, passing defense, is the bottom of the league. And Justin just continues to post 20-plus fantasy points a week. He's getting 8-ish targets a game, but he's making the most of every single one of those. Yeah, I cannot stop him. I can only hope to contain him. Here's the deal. The Giants' pass rush is going to have to get to Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams, if he's been anything this season, he's been inaccurate. He's completing somewhere around 50% of his passes. He has clearly struggled to connect with Josh's other receiver, Moore. So DJ Moore, DJ Moore left the field in the middle of a play last week. There's clearly a vibes issue between Caleb Williams and DJ Moore. And you can blame it on anything. You can blame it on the scheme. You can blame on the fact that he's a rookie. But the fact is that the Bears are struggling in their passing game. And that gives me an opening to beat Josh this week, which I absolutely will do.
Yeah. Yeah, so I agree with every outtake take that you took on there. I mean, the 2 big weeks Caleb Williams had was like against Carolina and Jacksonville.
That's right.
So let that be known there. But I like it I like what you said at the end, because I am also taking you on this to win this match, and I have you winning because Cade Otton. Bro, no one has benefited as much from having receivers hurt than Cade Otton. Last 3 weeks, he's averaging 10.5 targets a game and averaging around 23 fantasy points per game. He's now the number 3 tight end in the league. He could end up tight end 1 if this connection with Baker Mayfield keeps continuing on. It is insane how much he is getting the ball, but it is awesome to see him kind of come out here. And, Mike Evans isn't back for another week at least. So you at least get one more week where he's the only guy they're throwing to. You know, the rookie McLaughlin was out last week as well. That benefits as well. So yeah, Cade Otton being phenomenal here. Now, the Giants D was one I wanted to talk about. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the week, was this a good choice? I think I would have probably still said yes, but it would have been a hard decision. Ravens have been probably pretty consistent for you here. Does look like they've had some bad weeks here, but they got 9 points last week. But the Giants D is sneakily the number 12 defense in the league right now. You wouldn't think that you'd say Giants and anything top 12 right now if your name wasn't Malik Neighbors or Tracy Jr., but their defense has been playing really well. It's the 12th thing. They're playing against a Bryce Young led Carolina Panthers, who also have Deontay Johnson that just got traded away, who might not have Adam Thielen for the rest of the year. They're playing in Germany. Fireworks are going to go off. I'll take the Giants on that. Also take you with the smart pick because, I mean, Ravens got -1 this week. So very smart pick on your part.
Yeah, Ravens have really struggled against just any good passing attack, and I figured Joe Burrow would light it up again, which he absolutely did.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was brutal. And a missed kick from Tucker. I thought I was going to...
That's rough.
What's going on? Like,
that's rough.
Do I even know football anymore?
I know those are automatic. 50-yarders were automatic for Justin Tucker. So crazy.
Believe that.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I got to talk about this next one though. So this is we've got Jordan, who's matched up against Mahomes, and this is the Jordan here out for blood. I have absolutely got to talk about Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, he has entered video game mode. I mean, the backwards hurdle the other day will be on his career highlight reel. That will be what they play when he goes into the Hall of Fame. The Eagles are the team that no one's talking about. And partly is because, Sirianni, he's as nuts as any coach in the league. And because Washington is seemingly running away with the division. But with the Cowboys this week and the Commanders next week, I mean, Saquon has the second most rushing yards in the league. He could lead not only your team to victory, but he could also lead the Eagles to a division victory, which would be crazy how awesome he is playing.
Mm-hmm.
The other question I've got about your team, and we already kind of touched on a little bit, Josh Downs is a question for me. This is just not just us being Flacco lovers, but I just like Flacco against average Buffalo pass defense. So can Josh Downs continue to produce? He's been getting 9-ish targets, and I think he'd be a good flex option. But normally, I already loved on Cortland Sutton, but because it's against KC, I think you have to play Downs this week. But I got you winning, Jordan. Your team is hitting on all cylinders, and yeah, I think you're going to do just fine. James Conner's been great. Samuel is back. Trey McBride's been great. You've got a great team.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. I am also taking myself. One of my main things though is he's got Devon Achane, which can always cause a problem. As long as Tua has been in quarterback, he is going to tear the field up. He has put up 23 with Tua. He's put up 23 points, 30 points, 27, and 32 points in the game, averaging 7.5 targets in those games and a touchdown in all but one, which was the very first. He is absolutely unstoppable with Tua in there. So what a great pick and getting hot the right time. What will be his downfall this week is that he was out injured. Jaden Reed's on bye. He doesn't have any other real receivers outside of that. So he has to go with Mike Williams, who's going to a brand new Pittsburgh Steelers team. Probably going to be worked in a little bit more on that before he goes. And then he also has to rely on Alec Pierce, who is this year's Gabe Davis, right? This year's boom or bust. Did he get a 60-yarder? Great. He's going to have a lot of points, or he's not going to score very much at all. So those could be essentially his downfall in there. I mean, he also has to play Tyler Algier on his flex. So Yeah, I like me for this week on this one.
Absolutely.
Those are the reasons. But Devon Achane's an absolute beast. So we haven't disagreed quite yet, have we?
No, I feel like a lot of the decisions are pretty easy this week. We at this point in the season, we kind of know what we're up against. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to take this one here to start off. Our next matchup is Skip and Cam.
Yeah.
And this should be this should actually be a pretty fun one. It could go either way at some point. Skip has Chase Brown, and he has gotten him 22.4 this week already on the Thursday night game. He got 9 targets this week. He's been averaging 25 points per game the last 2 weeks with Zach Moss sitting out. Really a steal of a pick, a good pickup since Zach Moss has been out. He looks like he's the clear front guy. We'll see how they picked up Khalil Herbert in a trade right before the trade deadline. So we'll see how much that affects. It did not affect. All he did was come in, touch the ball once, fumble the snap, get on top of the fumble, and then really didn't see the field very much after. So I don't know if there's going to be much kind of going on there. But Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in my opinion. We talked about this last week, but I'd still take Lamar Jackson over him. But he has been a pretty good pick this year. Last 4 weeks, he's gotten over 18.5 fantasy points, playing really good football right now. Indianapolis Colts do not scare me as much. I think he's still a force on his feet. So, yeah, I really like Josh Allen. I am unfortunately going to go against my Cammy Lammy pick and go with Skip on this one.
Yeah, I gotta go Skip as well. But if Cam's going to be competitive, a few things have to happen for him. First of all, Devontae Adams, he finally boomed for 22 points last week. It's obviously the connection with Rodgers is reforming, and we've got the two-headed Jets monster is coming for Arizona. He was reportedly living with Rodgers, who's more likely to have incense sticks in his basement than a Taco Bell. But I do like Devontae. He is going to be effective. He had 11 targets last week, and there was 10 to Garrett Wilson. So whatever the division is, it seems to be working between the two. The other thing that has to go well for Cam, and I'm a little worried about it, but Eckler again has the opportunity to lead the backfield because Robinson's been ruled out. So he'll still split carries with the other guys. He still gets 2 to 3 passes a game, but the only times that Eckler's really scored any points are the weeks that he has scored a touchdown. So that means Jaden Daniels has to allow him to get within running distance of the end zone. Jaden Daniels just seems to find the end zone early and often. So Eckler's got some struggles there. The other trouble is that the Steelers have a pretty stingy rushing defense. So Eckler's got a big week against him. The other thing is Darnell Mooney. He's been really reliable for Cam, but he only gets about 14 points in the league. And the reason he has to play Mooney is because Waddle has been absolutely dreadful, even with Tua in the lineup. So unfortunately for Cam, yeah, he's got some reliable guys on his team, but he doesn't have that pop that other teams have. So yeah, that's why I got Skip winning this week.
Yeah, Darnell Jalen Waddle got negative yards last week and scored a touchdown, which is insane to me. Negative 4 yards and 1 tutty, which absolutely is still not saving the week. But okay, so I think next up we have Taylor playing Caleb.
Yes.
We've already had 1 result here, or 2 results from Caleb's team, so he's looking pretty good. I am going to take Caleb this week. And I'm not going to lie, if you'd asked me at the beginning of the week, I probably would have taken Taylor, but it's hard to overcome Lamar Jackson, a big game. But Taylor does have a chance here. And reason being is Bijan Robinson, last 4 games have been averaging 23 points per game. Back-to-back 7 reception games, getting over 20 touches a game right now, playing phenomenal football on the team, who is just figuring it out. Kirk Cousins kind of coming to his own, kind of figuring it out after the injury. Receivers are so good, and they just play Bijan running him. He is just a special talent. You can just always tell he gets out of breaks away from tackles in the backfield. He has just been a phenomenal player for this Atlanta Falcons. A big reason why they're starting to make a comeback here. And then also Tank Dell with Nico Collins coming back. The real question is, will that help or hurt Tank? And I think it could help. If you remember last year, it was just Nico Collins and Tank Dell on this squad as receivers. And Tank Dell was borderline matching Nico Collins with points last year. He was having such a phenomenal year, so it could be good. I don't know how much I trust against a stingy Detroit, but I think he can do good, and kind of base off of his last match of 20.6 last week. So I think Tank Dell could be a deciding factor on this, with getting more than what he's averaging at or expected to have at 14.5.
Just as a sidebar on the Houston Texans, I heard this week someone say that Joe Mixon and his running is a killer of offenses. And that's kind of showed itself a little bit in Houston. What do you think about that?
That Joe Mixon's running is a killer in offenses?
Yeah, like it kind of killed Cincinnati a little bit. And now he's taken the Houston Texans down a notch. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, the guy, Joe Mixon could easily be running back 1 by the end of this week. So if that's killing me with run or offense, I would take that all day long. I mean, he has been an absolute beast. I just think, I don't know. I don't know what's happening to this Houston team. I don't even, maybe it is Joe Mixon. Maybe I'm just a little confused, but man, I don't know what happened.
Well, I'll talk about Caleb's team. Obviously Lamar scored him almost 40 points. He got a boom out of Mark Andrews. Haven't seen a whole lot out of Mark Andrews this year, but he sure looked good the other night. But I was talking to Caleb about Jaylen Warren. So Jaylen Warren's an interesting situation because the Steelers are trending in the right direction, but it's largely Najee's success that has helped propel them to play action. Warren's just losing all kinds of things. He's losing touches. He's losing targets. It's just a tough time for Warren, but he can still, against a Washington team that gives up 5+ yards per carry, if he can get 5-7 touches, he can still do a lot of damage against Washington. So I think Caleb will be I don't think he'll need Warren, but he'll get some contribution from him. Garrett Wilson, he has been stellar of late. Shin equals 2 feet, right? I mean, he looked amazing. That catch was probably the best catch of the season. His catch in the back of the end zone. He had 10 targets for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. And before that, he had 8 targets for 113. The Cardinals don't play great pass defense, allowing 7+ yards per pass attempt. And it just seems like Garrett Wilson's slow start to the season is behind him. I mean, he just looks like a weapon out there. And Aaron Rodgers didn't criticize him in a press conference. I think that's one of the first times that hasn't happened this year. So that's pretty good. Yeah, but again, Lamar Jackson, I don't understand why there are still haters out there, but there are a lot of haters of Lamar Jackson. What does the man have to do? I guess win a Super Bowl. That's really his last criticism, right? Just playoffs.
Yeah, just got to play out. I don't get the criticism. Dude is averaging 26.2 points a game. I mean, what else can you get from this guy? I mean, not even just that, but he's a phenomenal football player. I mean, 4 touchdowns this week, looked amazing. I don't know how you can still be hating on this guy. He has MVP. He still only has 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
This dude is throwing touchdowns all over the place, throwing it down the field, 2 interceptions in the whole year. It is insane. Personally, to me, he will be the MVP, back-to-back MVP again for this year.
Yeah, he's kicking some butt. Yeah, he had that jump pass that I don't even know. No one understands how he made that pass. Like he just
No.
has almost every throw in his arsenal. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
But
well, yeah,
okay.
we
So we
both have
both
Caleb
have
in this one.
Caleb.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I
All
wanted to
right.
talk about Ben in this one. This is Ben versus your wife, and I thought, Ben already has a kind of a middling start. Uh, with Derrick Henry only getting 14 points, Justin Tucker only getting 3 points. He's in trouble. He's in trouble early. Um, so yes. So here's the deal: the path forward, he's got to have the Steelers' offense do a lot of great things. He needs Najee and Pickens to boom against Washington, which could happen. I'm not saying they will be amazing. Najee's he's only his highest is 22, Pickens' highest is 24, but that's not in the same week. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure that both of those will boom for Ben, and he's just kind of out of options without Derrick Henry carrying him. Jared Goff could go off, you know, but maybe not. You never know. You're going to get efficiency out of Jared Goff, but you don't know how many points you're going to get out of him. So that's yeah. We had that argument on the TikTok this week. You said Lamar was going to be the number one quarterback, and then someone they
It's
said it was going to
great.
be Jared Goff, and that started a whole
Listen,
argument.
I want to, I want to address this right here. Like, listen, I like to have a nice, fun argument about. It's funny to me that the one person that commented who another great quarterback would be that wasn't Lamar Jackson said Jared Goff. And it wasn't like Jalen Hurts or, there's like a bunch of Josh Allen. Like there's a bunch of quarterbacks that are great. And Jared Goff is a great quarterback. But dude threw like 80 yards. Yeah, he got 3 touchdowns. He threw 80 yards in the game. Like, you're going to tell me that's better than Lamar Jackson in any world? Like,
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson's probably going to be an MVP again this year.
it was funny. It wasn't a troll job. It felt like a troll job, but it really was just someone who really felt that Jared Goff, because of his efficiency, he is very efficient.
Yeah.
That he was better than Lamar or anyone else, which is just bananas. Oh, that was funny. I enjoyed that.
I did too. Well, on this one, I am taking my wife to win this week.
Yeah.
I just got to give some credit out. I have to shout out to my wife. Love you, baby. But not even just my wife. Somehow she has squeaked a 6-3 record without her number one pick. Not just that, but the number one pick in the draft, the highest scoring player last year, Christian McCaffrey, is finally coming back this year. And he is a dominant force if he is full go. 6-3, you essentially found a way to win this week. And he does show on injured reserve, but he is projected to still go. But 6-3, this guy is, or 6-3, and you haven't even been able to play your first round pick. This is a dangerous spot this is a dangerous team to be facing right now. Christian McCaffrey's kind of coming in now. She has a ton of buys. Jackson Smith and Jigba, David Njoku, Josh Jacobs, Tyler Lockett, all on buys. So she's playing some Demarcus Robinson, which I kind of like, playing the heat streak. He's had 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. He could easily be a bust this week, but I like a pick that kind of, catch him while he's hot type of situation. And who knows, Puka Nacua might throw another punch next game, which then means Demarcus Robinson is back at the top of the list, baby, outside of Cooper Kupp. So, but him and Stafford have found a little bit of a connection in the last 2 weeks. So you try to play and see if you can ride that hot streak. So I like that pick there. But overall, I think, especially with this pedestrian start from Ben and having Brian Robinson Jr. out, poor guy's got DK Metcalf on the bye and Anthony Richardson. Not a thing anymore. So I'm taking my wife this week. I think she's got this in the bag. I say that, and I feel like anytime I say that about a team, they lose by 1 or something like that.
Yeah, I
So
got your wife winning this as well. Yeah, the man, 14 out of Derrick Henry. That's just disappointing. In a win,
yeah, yeah.
that's disappointing. Yeah. So then we've got this last matchup: the Bears versus Daniel Finkel-Einhorn.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna lay out the Bears real quick because obviously you're gonna talk about the problem on the other side of the screen here. But they said the Bears has a tough to so Quentin Johnson was awesome last week, but that was without Lad McConkey in the lineup. So that seems like an unlikely boom. Ingram needs to shine with Mac Jones, but also unlikely. And I understand the Daniel Jones start over Kyler because Kyler faces the Jets D. Daniel Jones is going to have to score 40 points to give the Bears a chance, which also seems unlikely because his best is 22 points. So I'm saying the Bears, with even if everything goes well, I do not see them overcoming the mountain that is Finkel-Einhorn at this point.
Well, no. Vic Einhorn, listen, if you lose this week, you might as well give up the championship because you couldn't have had an easier week as far as with it. Pretty much a win. When a guy gets you 70 points in fantasy, that is crazy. Did you know that Jamar Chase has now more 50-plus point games in his career than Jerry Rice in
Wow.
all of the fantasy time? So it's crazy. I mean, the guy had 11 receptions, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 50-plus yard touchdowns. Both of those are on the first play of the drive, which is crazy to me that if you're not Baltimore, you're like, hey, T. Higgins is hurt. I'm going to let anybody else beat me this week other than anyone else. When he threw to everyone else, it did not look as great, but him and Jamar Chase have, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have just such a connection right now. In the Baltimore games alone, he has scored 118 points in our league. He would be a top 25 receiver right now with just those 2 games of fantasy points. It is insane what he's doing. Joe Burrow on the bench is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Bears is just lucky that Joe Burrow, this guy decided to play. He's a Niners fan, so he decided to go with the Brock Purdy instead. But man, to start a week with 15 points, and you haven't even played 80% of the team that you have in right now, would be a monstrous week. So honestly, our league is just lucky. I barely got the 1-point victory over this, or 7 points is what I have over him as point leader. I'm pretty much kissing that one goodbye, and I'm happy that Joe Burrow didn't play because I don't know if I could catch him with the type of week that he could have potentially had with Joe Burrow in there. But he's a for sure lock-in win.
Yeah, I think he'll win. It's Finkel-Einhorn, interesting season. He beat me because of Dicker the kicker. He barely beat me because Dicker had that career game. He barely loses to Skip last week because of that walk-off touchdown. And this week he has Jamar Chase. I don't know. Daniel could still make it interesting. Maybe the 49ers D gets negative points. Like, I don't – who knows what could happen. But he's had an interesting season.
I'm just trying to see here. I think I played him. I think I want to say I lost to him. Oh, yeah. I think he put like something stupid on me, like 160 points or something. 158.6 points. Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Travis Etienne does this week. Do you expect anything from Travis against the Vikings?
I don't. No, I think Travis Etienne is a bust. I think everyone knows that he's a big bust. That guy's not. He could scroll into a touchdown. He's going to have a rare 18, 20-point game, but most of the time he's going to be pretty pedestrian and hard to guess when to play him. I don't trust Travis Etienne in the slightest. So, but yeah, so I think that is all of our teams here. Maybe we'll stay on for do we have anything else that we want to do here?
Kind of wanted to run a few stardom sit-em past you.
Wonderful.
So Tracy Jr. So Singletary is back. Do you think Tracy Jr. is a good person to start this week?
Yeah, I think even when Singletary was back previously, he was still playing second fiddle. I think since Tracy has kind of taken over, he's done really well here. Carolina Panthers is the worst defense run team in the league. I play Tracy all day.
Okay. Yeah, Tracy's been kind of an emerging force, and Singletary just kind of seems a little banged
Disappearing.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. Dalton Kincaid. Kind of been up and down all season, but we've got Keon Coleman out. Do you like Kincaid more with Coleman out?
I would like to say yes. I do like Kincaid better with Coleman out, obviously. It's going to be, this is what I thought all year, though. I thought he would be at the beginning of the year. I actually thought he would be like a sneaky pick where he got like, triple digit receptions. And when maybe they weren't all the way down the field, they were real short ones, but I thought he would have a really good year. Still thinking that he can, Keon, or with Coleman out, they're still throwing to Amari Cooper and stuff like that. For the last 4 weeks, he's gotten since week 4, 7 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets, 10 targets. I think he's getting in the what he needs, and to have Josh Allen throw to you. I would play him any given week as far as with it. He is just barely into the top 12, so he's a fringe tight end one, but I think he's still playable, especially this week.
Here's an interesting one. Javonte Williams. Do you play him against the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, I think Kansas City has, if not the best, top, I think they're only giving away 3 to 4 yards per carry right now. I wouldn't play people against them regardless, let alone Javonte Williams, who has been having such a weird year. He has 2 back, Estime and having Jaleel McLaughlin, always playing touches away from him, even though he's the primary back, obviously. I just don't know how much to trust him. He's only had 1 good week against this is the only touchdowns he scored all year. He did get 42 yards and catches, but it's not like they're particularly targeted him a ton either. So yeah, I think Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton are starting to get a feel, and they're starting to feel more comfortable throwing it better or more. So yeah, I wouldn't say, he's gone over 20 touches in a game, a lot of the years. He has on some games, but yeah, I don't trust Javonte Williams.
Okay. What do you think about George Pickens this week at the Commanders? Do you think that's a growing connection with Russ, or?
Yeah, I think Russ obviously brings a better, with Justin Fields. I'm not saying either one is better or worse, but with Justin Fields, I think he has more potential to run, and he's not as much of a pocket passer where George Pickens gets a lot of benefit off of Russ being a pocket passer. Now, last week he didn't have such a great week against the Giants, the week before that against the Giants, but he's still showing a lot of connection. He's getting a lot of targets from him and touchdowns. So I think George Pickens is good. He is very lucky that Marshawn Lattimore is not the new addition to the Washington Commanders, that Marshawn Lattimore is not playing in this game, because then I would say a little bit more of a downgrade. But
Well, this one hits a little close to home for you. I heard that in Dallas this week, they had a radio contest to see who'd be the starting running back this week. What do you think about Rico Dowdle? Is he someone you're going to trust this week?
Rico Dowdle, so he is a weird one, because it could end up here's the thing. The Cowboys are in a bad position because it's we have Cooper Rush, and we trust Cooper Rush. Do not get me wrong. Us Cowboy fans, in Rush, we trust. But you're going to want to run the ball to kind of take some pressure off of him. When he's had some opportunities, he has gotten, last game, he got 21 points. He got a touchdown. He got 19 points against Pittsburgh, 13 points. So he has gotten some points. And And with Cooper Rush, maybe it swifts or swings to they want to try to run the ball a little bit more to put that pressure off him. I think Rico Dowdle could be a sneaky good pick this week.
Okay.
I guess that's as an optimistic Cowboy fan.
Wow. Yeah, Dowdle, man. That's Zeke just hasn't added up. That's tough.
Well, no. Zeke has not shown up. So, but yeah, no, Cowboys will be a fun one this week to go over there and get there. I guess the Cowboys play the Eagles this week. Is that how? No,
yeah, they do. They got to deal with Saquon.
Yeah, we
this
do.
week.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, nothing like having one of the worst running defenses and playing Saquon Barkley. Maybe this time you'll do like a full 360 over 2 players.
Just do a tornado over the top of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Just as a curiosity, who do you have winning that Tampa Bay 49ers game? Do you think Tampa Bay walks in there and gets a big win?
Oh man, I don't know, man. It's I mean, they're all sorts of banged up, but San Francisco, the secret weapon is back, baby. Christian McCaffrey, cheat code, Madden player, he's back. I don't know how much he's gonna play, but hopefully he plays quite a bit. And yeah, they are a different team. When you have to double cover the running back because he's running he's out of the backfield, it opens up the game for so much for Brock Purdy. So I think, yeah, I'm going to take San Francisco with Christian McCaffrey's comeback game.
Man. Yeah, hard to bet against Christian McCaffrey. Interested to see what the pitch count is with him. And I think, Shanahan's going to want to see him do different things. So it'll be interesting to see how many touches he gets, what kinds of touches he gets. If they get him going early or if they break him in, it'll just be interesting to see how they manage that. If he gets hurt because they played him too much in the first game, that'd be crazy. That'd be absolutely
Achilles
crazy.
arthritis in both legs.
He's so young. Like, what is happening?
Well, he's a track star before football. Those Achilles have been. I mean, the Panthers just burnt the tires on Christian McCaffrey. And I'm not going to say San Francisco's much less. So, guy's been a cowbell, just taking beatings for the last 7 years or whatever he's been in here. 3, 4, 5.
Tough to be running back in this league.
Oh, yeah, you just get beaten. Here's the ball 27 times. Good luck. Hopefully you can break through the line. But I don't know. It's crazy. You take more beatings as a running back, but I think receivers, you take that dangerous hit more times than you would as a running back. You get that. I'm coming full force, helmet to helmet. You're not expecting it. Knockout rocket punch. I mean, look at Chris Olave, poor guy. Got knocked out in that match or in that last game from a dangerous play.
It looked bad, too. It looked bad.
Yeah. You got Kurt Warner.
Yeah. There's been some tough hits this year, but luckily no one's been, paralyzed on the field. I feel like last year before, there were several guys that looked like they died on the field. And luckily this year we haven't seen any of that.
Well, we saw one.
Who?
Tua.
Oh, yeah. God. Does Tua count? I mean, you drop eggs and he's hurt,
That's like a yearly occurrence thing. Once or twice a year.
Yeah, I don't think Tua counts. I think everyone knows if Tua's out on the field, he's not walking off okay.
Yeah. That's fine. It's crazy. So, all right. Any more to shoot at me?
No. I ran through a whole freaking list.
Love it.
Yeah, this is where the old TikTok live will be crushing it. Just looking at that, I ran a video on TikTok and it got 89 views.
Nice.
Not a lot. Not a lot for our videos.
No, but I mean, it's just started, right?
Yeah. I do think we've got some great stuff in this episode, though. I think we've got some good takes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got I've been kind of looking at the league and how it could possibly finish up. Just trying to think. Okay, so right now I'm eighth ish in the league.
Mm-hmm.
What needs to happen? Um, so yeah, Mahomes is gonna lose. Cam's gonna lose. Ben's gonna lose. Um, yeah, the Bears are gonna lose. Like, there's a few people that are getting losses this week that are good for me, but it's gonna be tough.
Really, what you need is Skip to lose.
Yeah, Skip winning last week. I congratulated on him, but I was very sad.
Yeah, that's an upsetting one. That one hurts. That one
Yeah,
hurts because if he loses last week, you're in fourth place. You're in playoff right there.
right. But I still think I'm in a good position. I've got a good team. Got a few weeks to string a few wins, but a few extra losses. If Taylor loses, I mean Taylor, man, Taylor's a target for sure.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. But that's going to be a battle between Mahomes and I think probably Mahomes. No offense, Cammy Lammy.
Yeah, we didn't do the matchup of the week this week.
No,
I was sad about it.
who was our matchup the week this week? Who would you have called?
A lot of blowouts this week.
Yeah, it's a hard week to kind of project it.
Probably me and Josh. That's probably
The
well,
closest one.
and Caleb and Taylor, but we got Caleb probably winning that one.
Yeah, I guess you could say Cam and
Skippy,
Cam and Skippy.
but I don't know if
The
Cam
brother battle.
I don't know. Yeah, man.
So, all right. Well, I guess we can call this one for Spotify, right?
Oh yeah, it's called. Yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in. Catch us next week for more reactions to this week's plays. Catch us on TikTok or our YouTube presence, and make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, give us a shout out. Tell us who you think we should start or sit. Who's your boomer bust? Let us know.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave, for such a great episode. As always, this has been amazing. And yeah, I appreciate everyone listening and viewing and liking and all that stuff. So really appreciate it. Keep it up. Keep the questions up. We love to have guest questions even during the week so that we can kind of go through them here.
Yeah, maybe I should go through real quick and just see if there's any questions, real questions besides is Jared Goff better than let's see here. Let me just go through these real quick. Let me see. Someone did say someone just said Goff, and I'm not sure why they just said Goff. After that whole Goff argument, they just were like Goff.
Goff.
That's
I don't need to
helpful
explain myself.
That's helpful to no one. Trying to see if we got any other interesting ones. Yeah, I said the Jets were going to get it together, and we've got this guy on TikTok, SMH,
Mm-hmm.
and and I said, do the Jets finally get it together? And I said that they would, and they didn't. But it does seem like the Jets are trending in the right direction, especially for fantasy people.
Oh, absolutely.
So he said aged poorly, but I think that's going to age better.
Yeah, I think the Jets, they play Arizona. It's a winnable game this week. Jets had a good victory last week against the Texans, who was 6-2. So their defense is always going to keep them in it for the most part, unless I mean their defense is doing really good this year. I mean, the most points they've given up in the game is 22. So, oh, I'm sorry, no, they gave up 37 one game, but they're keeping it in 20. So Yeah, very winnable game here in Arizona, and they're scheduled like Arizona, Colts, Seahawks, Dolphins, Jags, Rams. It's not like they have a particular super hard schedule coming up. So,
Well, I was hating on JSN all season, and last week he freaking went off.
oh,
So
I know. Lex was so happy about that.
yeah,
So,
kind of going through it, man. It's crazy how many guys are out for the season now, though. Um,
oh yeah. I mean, I didn't even mention that Dak Prescott, hammy torn off the bone a little bit, out
mm.
for 4 weeks at least. What's
Is
that do
Dak
for
your guy,
seed?
man? Is Dak the guy?
No, he's not the guy. I don't think he's the guy.
He's getting lots of hate.
He's not. So here's the thing: it's hard to find a quarterback in this league. Dak is a good quarterback. He's not a great playoff quarterback, but he is a good quarterback. Um, I think he kind of gets a bad rap this year, and it's not all his fault. The running game doesn't exist. If they had some sort of running game, could play some play action. It's like they play action. They're like, all right, cool. Like like you were saying, Rico Dowdle may get some points here and there, but that's not the solution. It's just you just always go back to you could have had Derrick Henry. We could have had Derrick Henry. We could have had Derrick Henry, who's only the number one running back in the league right now. And imagine what that would look like if you didn't have to count on just Dak throwing 60 times and you could hand the ball off to Derrick Henry 22 to 25 times. So,
But Derrick Henry's not the only running back that changed addresses last year. Eckler, Mixon, Josh
Mhm.
Jacobs.
Yeah, but Derrick Henry wanted to come to the Cowboys. He has a
Right, right.
home in Dallas.
I hear you, but like they could have done something with
Anything,
somebody.
anything.
Yeah, they just refused to do business. Could have had Aaron Jones.
You could
Like
have
they
even
could have
gone
had
for J.K. Dobbins.
yeah, there
That
were
guy's having a good year.
but yeah, now they have a clear running problem when there were so many solutions out on the market.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's going to be that many solutions next year. So it's like this was literally the year for running backs was this year. Like
I
this was the running back time.
I think next year there will be a handful coming out of college. This kid out of Auburn, what is his name? There he's completely wasted on Auburn squad. He is a great running back, and
Oh, dude.
he's gonna be a pro.
If I want I want this guy to get, I want the Cowboys to go in and I want them to tank all the way down this year, lose every single game, and then I need them to pick up that guy from Boise State, Ashton
Oh yeah,
Gentry. Is that his name?
yeah, he's a player, man.
Dude is he's an animal, bro. He
Yeah.
is an animal. Like dude, 190 carries, 1500 yards, 20 touchdowns this year. Like the guy is a beast. I've seen him mow people over, break
Now
people's ankles. It is insane.
these aren't
This
NFL linebackers that he's doing this against, but
I know he's not, but
he's such a
still the
special player.
talent. He's going to be
Hmm.
a special talent. He's a Bijanish talent
Yeah,
coming out of the draft.
that's just it. Is I think that there are next year's going to be just fine as far as running back market. It's just what's Dallas going to do?
Well, hopefully
Dallas,
this year like proves like, listen, I know you felt like our passing game was all of that, but you have to have a running game. So whatever you do, Jerry, whatever if you're listening to me now, whatever you do in the off season, you do two things. You sign Micah Parson and you find a damn running back for this team to run the damn ball. Please. That's my message.
Micah's worth it, man. If your team has an elite edge rusher, it gives you an instant advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It opens it up for everyone else to rush the passer as well. Micah is elite.
Yeah. And Cowboys have been unfortunate. No Micah for the last like 4 weeks. No DeMarcus Lawrence for like the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a rough time. Brandon Cooks went on IR. Like Dak Prescott's now going on IR. We just are falling apart. So well, I don't think we're gonna have anybody chit chat with us tonight.
Yeah, it's not our week, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Well, this was fun though.
I thought we had some good energy tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that, yeah, we'll just chalk it up to growing pains,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just keep bringing the pain.
Yes, sir.
I've been watching a lot of Colin Coward this week, trying to see what he does, and really, it's just he just has good takes.
Yeah.
That's all he does. So as long as we're coming with the good takes, and you're answering all the questions of the humans out there, well, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a few people. I couldn't decide if it was like your wife or your son, or people are filtering through the live, but I don't think it was. No Caleb this week.
No, what happened? Okay, I guess we started at a different time.
Well, and he's not at work. Normally he's at work, so he'll just be working overnight, and he'll chime in. So
Gotcha.
yeah, man. But 327 followers on TikTok. Yeah, if we can get to that
Magic number.
if we can get to that 1,000 number, I'm hoping if I can do what I did this week, chop up some good videos.
Yeah, we got to find the Lamar Jackson of this week.
Yeah, no, there's a formula, and I'm starting to put it together. We got this.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, till next week. Adios.